The opening scene of the film shows a woman walking along a deserted road in France. Then a car drives by on the road. Unexpectedly, the woman pretends to throw herself in front of the car, causing the car to crash into a tree. The woman then gets up and approaches the car. It's still unclear what she's doing or the condition of the driver. The setting shifts to a restaurant where a girl named Justine is eating with her family. Justine and her family are vegetarians, so they don't eat meat. While Justine is eating, unexpectedly, there is a piece of meat in her food. Justine's mother gets upset with the restaurant staff and is not happy with their service, considering that Justine's family does not consume meat. After that, Justine continues her journey with her family. Justine is dropped off by her parents at her new college, located in the city. She's a freshman in veterinary school. Justine arrives at her campus, which seems very quiet, and then her parents leave her. The next day, Justine is woken up by a guy named Adrien. Justine and Adrien are told to join their fellow freshmen, who are already lined up. These freshmen are then ordered by their seniors to walk to a certain place, and they end up in a basement. There, Justine and her friends are forced to crawl. After crawling, they're led to a place to party. Turns out, they are actually ordered to party all night long. The atmosphere at the party is obviously stuffy, given the large number of freshmen on campus. In this scene, we can see how free the freshmen are at the party, with naked women, gay guys, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, and much more. Justine clearly feels very uncomfortable with her surroundings, which seem crowded and suffocating. Justine then meets her older sister, Alexia. At that moment, Alexia is enjoying the party, dancing on a table. Justine calls Alexia, who appears to be in a daze. Then Alexia invites Justine to leave the crowd and go somewhere with her dog. The scene then turns very dark. Several times, Justine bumped into things until finally, Alexia showed her photos of past student generations. Unexpectedly, Alexia showed Justine a picture of their parents when they went through hazing, just like Justine. Justine couldn't believe that her parents had also gone through what she was experiencing at her new campus. Alexia explained that the hazing was a tradition that had been passed down at their school for generations. Justine, who was exhausted, wanted to go back to sleep, but Alexia wouldn't let her because freshmen were not allowed to sleep before their seniors. Justine followed her sister back to the party. The scene changes, and a very tired Justine returns to her room to enjoy what little sleep time she had left. After that wild party, the freshmen were taken to watch the process of sedating and dissecting animals. After that, the freshmen were led to another place. They watched the seniors deliver a very strange and sexualized hymn. After watching the hymn, Justine became suspicious because some red liquid splattered onto her clothes, and it turned out to be animal blood that soaked all the freshmen. Then a senior gave a brief speech to the freshmen about how they should behave as newcomers and how they would pass their hazing initiation. After that, the freshmen were lined up. It turned out that they were forced to eat rabbit kidneys. Justine, being a vegetarian, refused to eat it. The senior leading the hazing was obviously confused. Justine told the senior to ask her sister since their family was vegetarian. Her sister came and denied being a vegetarian. Alexia, clearly puzzled by Justine, forced her to eat the meat by shoving it into her mouth. After swallowing the meat, Justine felt sick and asked her friend to leave. The scene then shifted to Justine and her friends enjoying lunch while discussing the strange topic of monkeys contracting AIDS due to inappropriate human behavior. This odd and bizarre conversation killed Adrien's appetite. After lunch, the freshmen continued their studies, even though they were still wearing lab coats covered in animal blood. While working on an exam, Justine felt an itch on her hand. After finishing the exam, she left the room. That night, Justine started to itch all over her body again. When she checked, she found many red rashes all over her skin. The next day, Justine went to see a doctor to ask about her condition. The doctor said that Justine had an allergic reaction after eating the rabbit kidney. After that, Justine returned to class. On her way, Justine meets a senior. The senior gets angry because Justine is not wearing the proper dress code for the party and didn't bow when passing in front of a senior. The senior then gives Justine a punishment. The scene shifts to Justine being in her sister Alexia's room. Alexia gives Justine clothes for the party's dress code. While Alexia is picking out clothes, Justine scribbles on her sister's exam papers. Alexia gets angry and kicks Justine out of her room. Justine immediately puts on the clothes and shoes given by her sister. Instead of looking good, Justine struggles with the shoes and outfit. While walking, Justine sees her belongings that were thrown around during the first day. She tries to take them back to her room. Unfortunately, Adrien is being intimate with another guy in their room. Justine can't go inside and has to wait outside all night. The next day, Justine and Adrien are eating at the campus cafeteria. While Justine is getting food, she suddenly takes a piece of meat and hides it in her lab coat pocket. The cafeteria cashier notices this and forces Justine to pay for it. After eating, Adrien invites Justine to go for a walk and get food outside the campus. On their way, they see a car that has been in an accident. This car was shown in the opening scene of the film. Then Justine and Adrien buy food at a diner, and they purchase hamburgers. It seems Justine has left her vegetarian habits behind. Then an old man approaches them and touches Adrien. After he leaves, Justine eagerly eats the hamburger meat. Early the next morning, Justine is seen trying to get food from the fridge. Adrien, feeling suspicious, questions Justine. She tries to dodge the question by saying she was only looking for cereal. After Adrien leaves, she grabs raw meat from the fridge and eats it immediately. The next day, Justine meets with a professor. The professor asks why her grades have been so poor lately and questions her odd behavior. Justine doesn't care and starts acting strangely by eating her own hair. Suddenly, she heads to the bathroom and throws up all the hair she had eaten. Justine then meets her sister Alexia, who is taking care of some animals. She wants to talk to Alexia. Justine asks Alexia if she's weird. Alexia replies, "Of course not, because Justine is the family favorite." Then Alexia teaches Justine something strange, how to pee while standing up. Alexia frequently invites Justine to sleep over in her room. So while Alexia and Justine were brushing their teeth, Alexia got annoyed by the large amount of fine hair on Justine that hadn't been trimmed. Without hesitation, Alexia started waxing Justine's pubic area. However, on the third attempt, the wax strip got stuck to Justine's skin and couldn't be removed. Alexia tried to cut it off with scissors. Justine, in pain, kicked Alexia, and something unexpected happened. Alexia's middle finger got cut off, and she fainted as blood gushed from her severed finger. After that, Justine tried to call an ambulance. While waiting for help to arrive, Justine put Alexia's finger on ice. Since there was no ice, she held onto the finger, then began licking the blood that was oozing from it. Justine then felt compelled to eat Alexia's finger like a snack. Suddenly, Alexia woke up and was horrified to see her sister eating her severed finger. After the incident, Alexia was taken to the hospital for treatment. When Alexia was discharged, the family had a brief argument. Justine left, and she looked like she was about to vomit the finger she had eaten. The scene then changes to show Justine and her sister returning to their campus. Seeing their parents had already left, Alexia immediately took Justine to a certain place. Alexia led Justine to a highway, and suddenly Alexia tried to throw herself in front of a car. The car swerved and crashed into a tree. Alexia was unharmed, but the people in the car were not so lucky. Suddenly, Alexia began eating the body of one of the people in the car. Justine tried to stop her and told Alexia to throw it up, but Alexia insisted that she needed to show Justine how to be a cannibal. Angry at her sister's behavior, Justine walked away half naked. The next day, Justine returned to campus to attend a dissection class. Adrien, who arrived late, asked Justine to tie his sterile lab coat. The professor arrived and the dissection began. Justine proceeded to dissect the dead dog in front of her without any disgust. The scene shifts to the students having lunch. Interestingly, during lunch, the freshmen were instructed to repeat everything the seniors said before they could start eating. Justine looked very annoyed in this scene. After lunch, the male students played a football match, where Adrien was seen playing. Justine, standing at the edge of the field, seemed intensely focused on Adrien. She appeared to be very attracted to Adrien, so much so that she became distracted by her own thoughts about him. That night, she wore the dress given by her sister Alexia, while listening to a strange song. Justine got lost in the moment, until she heard a disturbing noise. Upon closer look, it turned out that it was Alexia and Adrien playing together. Alexia was surprised to see that Justine was finally wearing the dress she had given her. Adrien then left because he had an event he needed to attend. After that, Alexia invited her sister to play together. Alexia teased Justine about how miserable she must be for not being able to eat meat anymore. Alexia tempted Justine to try it again, but Justine didn't care and refused to do it. The scene shifts to Justine trying to sleep, but she couldn't, and looked very restless. She seemed to be in agony, possibly due to the effects of not eating meat at all. Unable to sleep, she left her room and wandered around the campus. She heard music, and as she passed by a room, she was suddenly doused with blue paint by her senior. There were also other students who had already been covered in paint. The senior forced Justine and a male student to engage in sexual activity in a room and locked them inside. When the boy tried to kiss Justine, Justine, who was obviously starving, bit his lip until it tore. The man screamed, and the two of them exited the room, witnessed by Adrien and other students. Justine then returned to her room to shower and wash off the paint. After her shower, she suddenly saw Adrien lying down, smoking. Adrien invited Justine to join him. He asked her what had happened with the man, and of course, Justine hadn't done anything. Here, Adrien seemed jealous. Justine left the room, but suddenly returned and ended up having sex with Adrien. During the act, Justine seemed to try biting Adrien, but she ended up biting herself instead. The next morning, Justine woke up first and enjoyed a cigarette. From the window, she saw her sister walking toward a certain place. In the library, Adrien and Justine were studying together with other students. Then a message popped up on Adrien's phone. It turned out to be from Alexia, Justine's sister. Alexia told Justine to check her phone, but Justine didn't care about what her sister said. Justine grew jealous because Adrien had her sister's phone, but Adrien ignored her. Justine kept asking until Adrien got angry and told her that he didn't really want to have sex with a woman because he was gay. Justine was furious with Adrien's attitude and unleashed her anger at the party. She then asked the bartender for a lot of alcohol and got extremely drunk. Alexia came to retrieve Justine and took her to a place. It turned out to be the morgue. There, Alexia showed Justine the corpse of a man. It seemed like they were planning to eat him, but the scene did not show it. The next morning, Justine woke up in her room after the party and got ready for class. When she arrived at the meeting room, she noticed that everyone was staring at her and avoiding her. Justine felt puzzled by this behavior. After class, Adrien took Justine to the bathroom to show her something. It turned out that Adrien showed her a video. In the video, Justine, heavily drunk, was humiliated by her sister Alexia, who used a human corpse to mock Justine. Naturally, Justine was furious with her sister's behavior. She confronted Alexia and immediately challenged her to a fight. They pulled each other's hair and ended up falling. Their fight became a spectacle for the other students. Alexia bit and ate a piece of Justine's cheek, causing it to tear. In pain, Justine retaliated by biting Alexia's hand. Alexia didn't back down either, biting her sister's hand until they were finally separated by other students. It was clear that the students who broke them up treated Justine and Alexia like animals. Justine and Alexia fought back, but in the end they walked away from the crowd that had gathered to watch their brawl. The scene shifted to Justine in Alexia's room. Alexia seemed to have made peace with Justine and treated her wounds. However, Justine, still upset, left Alexia's room. At first, Justine took Alexia's room key, intending to lock her in, but she hesitated and left Alexia's door open. The next morning, Justine woke up next to Adrien, who was still sleeping. Justine tried to cuddle Adrien, but as she touched his waist, something felt off. It turned out to be blood, and worse, Adrien was dead with numerous bite marks on his legs. Justine felt incredibly guilty, thinking she had killed Adrien. But after she noticed the stab wound on his back, she became suspicious. It was then she realized that the one who had killed and eaten Adrien's leg was her own sister, Alexia. Justine confronted Alexia with the rod Alexia had used to kill Adrien. Alexia, unfazed, was casually playing video games. Justine stared at Alexia for a moment, then led her away. The entire campus was mourning Adrien's death. The scene then shifted. After the incident, Alexia was imprisoned. During one visit, Alexia spoke to her parents through the glass in the prison's visitation room. Afterward, they left her. Alexia called out to Justine and gave her a goodbye kiss through the glass. After leaving the prison, Justine looked tired and had no appetite. She couldn't even finish her vegetables. Her mother insisted that she finish her meal. Then her father began telling Justine about his past with her mother. It turned out that their cannibalistic tendencies were inherited from her mother. In fact, there were bite marks on her father's lips from their first kiss. Justine was confused, but eventually, her father showed her the many bite scars left by her mother. Justine was shocked, but her father hoped that one day, she would find a way out of all this, and the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Because by subscribing, you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.